got shot up with Chin. So go ahead and you can tell us a little bit about Chin.
William Chin Walker, he was killed April 4th, 2000. He was 37 years old, James.
Yeah, Chin was my first cousin's boyfriend. I met Chin a couple of times. Wherever dealt with him and been around him, my cousin had some little functions at the house that I would go to, and he would be there. Real cool guy. Wasn't, a loud person, real cool. And from the times we met, he was always like, what you need? I got you. I got it. No, y'all in my house. I got this. So he was always cool. So I wanted to make sure he was on there. My people looked at it and just like, y'all still remembering him? Yeah, I remember all of these guys from there. It's like a nightmare that won't go away. So yeah, I remember all these guys. So real good brother.
And he was with Poochie when he was killed.
When he got killed.
And Poochie was shot and injured.
Yes, correct.
Survived that shooting.
Correct.
Actually, him and Poochie were best friends at the time. And that's what killed me, because I thought Poochie switched on Chin and had him killed. So, I mean, I'm thinking one way, but it didn't actually go that way. And my cousin even said that they were best friends. He wouldn't do him like that.
So even though Pooch was in the car with him, you thought maybe there was a chance that he was involved in it, even though he got shot too?
Only because that Poochie was like got 100 with George, and they was like tight. So whatever George did, leads you to believe that this is how he
we're not going to sit up here and build George up like he was.
No,
he was a hitman. He was a hitman. The one that he was tight with, and the reason why they all were associated with him was because of this fool, Roderick Reed. They called Little Rod, who was the main connect out there with the drugs, and they all was working for him.
Well, I mean, it just goes to say that once those guys start hanging together, hey, one do something, they all guilty to me. And if you go after one, you got to go after all of them. No loose ends.
Yeah.
All right. Any last thoughts on Chin? What do you think of Reggie that he put him on the shirt?
Well, I have no problem with it. I love history, and to know people is fascinated with the characters and the individuals, and so hey, that's how you get to know it. That's how you shoot rumors and bullshit down that's put out by people that in my mind had nothing to do with the guys or even knew what they were if they walked in and slapped them in their face while they sitting in a restaurant, and that likes to speak on them.
So out of the 5 on the shirt, Chin was killed first out of the 5 in 2000. I believe Suge was still in prison. He wasn't released yet when that one happened.
Correct.
And I think was he released in 2001?
He was released August the 3rd, 2001.
Okay. So Dave Dudley, March 25th, 2001. He was killed.
Oh man, this one I've been knowing this little guy. His big brother is my homeboy. We was 100 since the 3rd grade. They lived across the street from the school, and from Stephen C. Foster. And I always thought little Dave was gonna be from the hood because they lived there, but they moved. And the next time I seen him, he was Brim Dave. He's a grown man now. And me and Tom hung out so much that, man, this guy right here. So when I put Lil Dave on the shirt, Lil Davey was killed in front of my house. 1609, he's killing. And he was coming to pretty much let my brother know that these guys got a hit on him. And somebody went back and told them that Lil Dave was our like family to us, which they didn't know. Nobody knew Dave knew our family and was that close. So these guys sat and waited till he walked out the house with him and his girlfriend. And when he went to put his key in the car, they pulled up, got out, and sprayed him with an AK. I think Lil Davey was shot 23 times.
He was lit up.
Yeah, his girlfriend was shot, I think Did she lose her arm?
Yeah, she lost her arm. It was done. My grandmother's house was right next door. Caused them to move out to Hemet after that happened. Matter of fact, they ended up selling their house to Jane's sister, because they had to get out of there because it was like there was so many shots that was fired at that location. They thought it was a war going on, but
well, they actually had 2 AKs.
Yeah.
And they shot him up with 2 AKs. So imagine looking at his body right there by the door. You know what I'm saying?
So that's 2 shooters then. 2 shooters shot Dave.
Yeah.
In a van, doors open. If y'all know anything about a guy that loves with the MO of having a van and shooting up people with an AK, then you'll know who's responsible for that. We all know who it is. It was in result of sending Buntry a message, is what it really was about, from a law enforcement point of view.
Yeah, well, they actually let little Davey know, we know what you're doing. We know you over here.
Yeah, but they followed him over there to shoot him.
No, Live Dog, well, I mean, I ain't going to dispute with you and go back and forth.
Yeah.
But we had a guy in the neighborhood that was basically scared, and he was going back and forth.
So you're going to make us talk about it tonight?
Just real quickly, and we'll move on.
Vincent was a good friend of mine over there in Fruitown neighborhood. I go over there, go to house parties over there back in the days and get a dice game going. I'm watching his back while he watching mine. He was a real good brother. And it was this shit here was just getting so out of hand because you had guys going to different neighborhoods, popping up in different neighborhoods, giving them ultimatums on either join us or, or lay down. Or you're a done situation. Vincent was one of the guys who wasn't having it. I never seen him involved in none of this, to my knowledge. So when I heard about Vincent being killed, I was pissed off. I was mad at everything that had to do with Death Row. I was so pissed off. I had to go visit Suge. I had to cuss my brother out. I mean, everything that was on there, I had to get at him because, man, this is a good cat right here. This is a good dude right here. So,
and that must have happened later because Suge was in prison when
no, I'm just saying I hated everybody.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So I know where everybody was at. I know where they all was at.
Well, the way I just don't want people to.
No, I ain't saying I ain't implicating nothing.
Well, because you made it seem like Death Row had something to do with it.
What I'm saying is, I was mad at Death Row. I was mad at Bunch of them because when it first came out, it was said that Suge had it done.
Yeah.
So that's enough for me.
All right.
What is dude? Why
we got to clear it up now. Let's go into it now.
No, but Vincent was I think Vincent was 2 years older than me. He was a good brother. Everybody that lost their lives during this situation and everything else, all of these cats were givers. There was givers. You didn't have not one of these cats that sit in a pack with you and say, let me hit that drink. They either bought drink, bought the weed, did this. They was all givers. No sit back, let me hit that cigarette kind of nigga. All of these guys were good guys that was with it. And they all contribute to they hoods, to the Piru car. They all represented well. And this is where I say is a damn shame because a lot of the good guys lost their lives. Not none of the weenie guys. Not none of the guys that's sitting out here and with the funny shit. None of those guys. Everybody is under a rock when these cats is getting killed. And when these cats getting killed, there's no retaliation. Who you gonna retaliate on? You killing your own people. Now it's time to go. Now it's time to quit. But, I'm so infuriated today that my brother's fuck. Let me go holler at this dude, Suge. Let me go because it's time for him to go. Because if he ain't here, ain't no more cash being put out. He can't pay for this shit. So let me cut the head off this chicken. You feel me? So this is a whole different another story, but that's how it is. And Vincent was a good guy. All of these guys, I would go to war with.
24, 2003.
Poochie was a member of the, just part of the security on death row. Me and him was cool. We never really hung out and this and that, but his whole thing was the same as everybody else. He was killed over the same thing. So everybody on that shirt was killed basically for the same purpose. And I'm gonna try to elaborate on that in a minute, but Reggie knew more of Poochie than I did, but I chose to put him on there because Poochie and I didn't see eye to eye. But that don't mean just because he gone, I just erase him. So I put him on there so people wouldn't think that I was being selfish or being a bigot or hating. So I put him on there so they can see that, because a lot of people out there still like Poochie, love Poochie. So I put him on there too. The next shirt is gonna have everybody. All these guys got mama, kids, grandmamas, uncles. It affected everybody. So just wearing that shirt, it lets whomever that don't even know you see how these guys died and when they died. And that's what the shirt tells you. You don't have to ask who is Buntry, who is Hen Dog. The shirt tells itself.
For the faults, some people know him as Darnell Bolton, but it's Poochie, and he's better known. And I'm saying that Reggie, this is Reggie's opinion, and Reggie's just saying that no one else here is that he's responsible for the murder of Biggie Small.
How sure do you feel about that?
Well, none of us sure, but that's what I believe from the investigation that was done by LAPD task force, along with the FBI, the DEA, and all of that you can find the whole detail in the book Murder Rap, done by Greg Kadings.
Are you over 90%?
Over
90% certain that he was involved in Biggie's killing?
Yes.
Was he the driver of the green SS?
He was the only occupant of the vehicle.
Okay. And I guess a lot of people might have some negative to say about him if that's true.
Well, you have people out there that want to believe the dirty cops, the Rampart cops, and all of that have something to do with it, with the David Mack and all of that. But that's just old white men that had nothing to do with the Tupac or the Biggie case that's pushing that narrative.
Well, I think David Mack also owned the exact same car, and maybe that's why a lot of people linked his name to the killing of Biggie.
So now we're going to say a cop is going to be stupid enough to do a drive-by or assassination on someone in his own vehicle. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think we have heard of dirty cops involved in shootings. So
in their own personal vehicle.
They had one robbing a bank.
Well, that was him. That was him, but
he robbed. Man,
he wasn't in his own personal vehicle. On that incident, he rented a vehicle and used another car.
Yeah, but listen to this. David Mack walked into the Bank of America on Jefferson and McClintock and robbed $700,000 that was never recovered as an LAPD officer. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Oh, I'm not saying nothing about dirty cops. Yeah, I'm not saying he wasn't dirty. I'm just saying what was his motive to have a assassination on Biggie Small?
No, I think that there is a lot of evidence that probably points more to Mr. Wardell, but I don't know for sure. You know,
none of us do.
Yeah, I'm not 90% sure like you are.
I'm 95%.
95% sure.
Yes.
Hey, he's a killer. I wouldn't put it past Poochie. I mean, the man gone. I'm not going to sit here and put more smut on him than he already got. The guy was a hitter, and he did that kind of well. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Were you a little hesitant on putting him on the shirt? Because you've had at least a dozen people you could have put on there.
Yeah, but I wanted the first shirt to say that I wasn't, okay, Poochie, and I was going to put George on one and behind bars. But I said, no, that ain't a good look. But, yeah, I was kind of like hesitant to do it. But then I said, this is me. This is what I want people to see. So I put him on there. It didn't matter. So
Miles James calls him Superfly?
Yeah, Superfly. Smokey Robinson.
Smokey, that's the name.
HERON was the pretty
he was the pretty boy.
Of the bunch.
He will fuck your woman.
Long hair. I mean, constantly in and out of prison.
Yeah.
He had them hands. He could fight. He was one of the homies that was
very charismatic. Very charismatic.
And just with the business. And, the way he died was, it was sad because this is our people. This is our people killing him. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't deserve that. And the way things happen, I don't want to sound wrong, but I got to keep it 100. Heron was a very big factor in our neighborhood, mob and Looters Park. He represented the penitentiary like the Kings do. And he just didn't deserve to die the way he died. He was shot 20-some times at a stoplight in the neighborhood in Compton. And, man, he shouldn't have went out like that. He was solid.
This question is always asked, what was Heron from? Was he Looters or mob? And I want James to answer that.
Heron was MOB, and people get it twisted because at one point the mob and Looters, it was Looters Park mob, and if you go to prison, whether I'm Mob James or not, I was Looters Park. You know what I'm saying? That's the mothership. That's the whole connect. So when this situation happened and broke from that, Heron was still saying MOB.
And I know he had a MOB pinky ring.
Yeah.
And the dudes that were from Looters didn't wear a MOB pinky ring.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Neckbone is still alive. He's not in jail. He's one of the few that can say that was mentioned on that song. He's living out in the IE area and raising his kids. Y'all would know Neckbone because he's the father, and him and Rage, the Lady of Rage, they had a kid together while they were stranded on death row. And, so that's some of my memories about Big Neckbone. James?
Big Neckbone is one of the closest homeboys we had in the hood with the business. You didn't never have to ask him for nothing twice or do nothing twice. He was with it, and praise God, he's still here with us. We lost a lot of brothers. I lost my brother also, but he's still here. He's still doing his thing, taking care of his girls. Ups to Big Neck.
Yep.
Was hitting death row security. Trey would have got his ass whooped touching on one of us or anybody that was affiliated with the mob. In there, everybody would have whooped his ass. So a lot of that shit was fake. It was fake. But if them guys want to tell it like that and make it seem like they were the man, no. I remember Dre at the skating rink. I remember Dre in all gold.
Talking about
Doodles.
Doodles.
And silver. Never was with the business. Never. He wasn't a gangbanger. He wasn't a gangbanger. Man, I took the dude's 64 Chevy, wasn't giving it back to him or Suge, and the only thing he said to me is, how you like to ride? I'm digging it. I'm having a ball, hitting switches all over the place.
And, man, another myth that's out there that y'all talking about, because he touched on Easy. Everybody think Easy was this big high roller dealing with cocaine and all of that. All Easy did was he was a marijuana seller. And if y'all don't want to listen to me, go listen to Alonzo Wells. He did a show with us on my YouTube channel called Bomb First, and he told it. He told a story on that. He said all Easy was, he knew how to save money. He was real feudal with his money, but he was the weed connect. He had a good weed connect, and he was selling the weed to all of the different homies and stuff like that. And so that's all that Easy was as well.
So those proceeds from the weed sales did go on.
It used to be this amateur show on Sunset. And me and Suge used to go there. We used to see Easy there. That's when I knew it was something wrong with Easy. But we ran across him. I got a homeboy named Kenny Tubb, rest in peace. Walked up to him, tapped his pockets. Easy moved his hand. He tapped his pocket, told him don't move, took his money. Next day, he went and bought him a Cadillac. He robbed Easy.
Oh, wow. Easy, what you mean? You think he knew
when he had HIV?
He said he looked sick.
He looked sick.
He looked sick.
Because he had on 2 T-shirts, 2 sweatshirts, and a T-shirt, and he just didn't look right at that time.
Wow.
On this incident, Hen Dog left Death Row Records. He was working the graveyard shift. watching the building at night. I was going from death row at that time, and my security was going as well from death row at that
Now we're
time.
talking about the building on San Vicente and Wilshire?
Yes,
Okay.
8200 Wilshire. I mean, it's really 8200. It's really an address in L.A. on San Vicente, but somehow we got the address of 8200 Wilshire, which I own. I was the owner of that building. But anyway, he was going home, on his way home, and he stopped at a Jim Dandy Ticket over on Imperial in Vermont in the Denver Lanes area. This is where James and I differ. I believe he was sitting in the car. His kid was in the back seat of the car, and they were looking for an apartment in that area. They didn't have cell phones. Most people don't know back in the 90s it was hard to have cell phones.
It was 2002, but still, cell
but
phones
he
were
didn't
very...
have a cell phone.
Yeah.
But they wasn't as in everybody's hand like we have them now. And so they stopped at a phone booth. And his girl got on the phone to call someone, and someone rolled up on a bicycle while he was sitting in the car on the driver's side and shot and killed him with his kid in the back seat. I believe Denver Lane is responsible. However, James, to my opinion, as from conversations we had before, I think he differs on that.
Now, was it expected that Hen Dog was going to be at this location?
It was less than some people would suspect his woman of setting him up.
Well, every guy on this paper was followed. Everybody was set up. And there, would you agree with that, Red?
I would agree with that. Only
So-
reason that I don't is because of the bicycle, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, the bicycle, the way Hen Dog was my little brother. Hen Dog became a little cousin to us, to Mom James, Timmy Room, Bunch Real, my mother, to my sisters. Hen Dog had a key to our house. He came in and left when he wanted to. That was our little brother. And you never seen him hurt nobody unless it was on some real BS, some real shit. They killed him. Somebody felt the need to kill him. You know what I'm saying? And to just a disrespectful kill. That was my little brother, man.
Yeah.
Now, was he in Vegas the day Pac was killed? Was he in the lobby?
No.
No. Okay. Some people said
He was probably at the club, but he wasn't one of the ones in the
He was at
entourage.
616.
Okay. All right. Well,